April 2016's monthly readings. So I'm going to start this with a shameless plug for my blog. So only because of the last blog. I don't update blogs a lot. So it's just really the last blog I've been doing and been contracted for a lot of intuitive art lately, and am so divinely blessed to be able to have this in my path right now. And somebody, usually the intuitive art paintings that I get contracted to do are private. I don't post those videos because the people, it's a personal story, and it's just as if you were to get a private reading by me. I don't publicize that. And so the last person who I did a video on painting for, her message was just so strong, and she actually is an astrologer who works with people on their divine path as well. And so she gave me an okay to go ahead and put together a blog post. Well, I forced her, I wrote it, and then basically asked if I could put it out there. So if you haven't seen the blog, I really recommend to go look at that blog. It's posted on Facebook, and it's on Chakras Root to Crown website on the blog page. So it's just, she's such a divine person, and anybody who's looking for their natal chart to be read or their astrology readings to be done, she's just so divine. So I highly recommend going and looking at that. And so now for April. So forgive me, because a lot of things came through that I feel like a quack sometimes doing this, and this month is no different. So as I went in and connected and became conscious for the earth energy and what's going on around the earth for April 2016, basically what I do is I go down and connect into the crystal that resides, that's my connection to the earth, and I connect into that, and then the crystal basically will shoot off. It kind of spins me in a direction as if you're sitting on the map of the world, and it spins me geographically into a specific direction, and plugs me into a part of the world. And so the first place I went, of course, was Hawaii. I just bought tickets to Hawaii, so it could be as simple as that. But last time I said that about Michigan, the Flint, Michigan story came up. So I'm just going to say it again. I have no clue if this is personal connection or if it's something April focused, but I saw tons and tons and tons of waves, basically almost like a Japanese style tattoo, and we'll get to Japan next. But I saw these waves, almost like finger waves, curling around the island of Hawaii, and so there were three things that I got pulled to, and I hate to stay in longer than I have to, so I just kind of get the basis of it. I try not to funnel it down too much. Number one, because I don't trust a ton of times in what comes through on this level. And so the first thing, of course, anytime you associate waves with Hawaii, the first thing that comes to mind is like a tsunami, right? But I don't think that. The phrase that kept getting repeated into my head was Hawaii's making waves, Hawaii's making waves. And so I just came back from Peru and missed the election cycle that was happening, but I kind of kept getting pulled to this, and I'm not sure if Hawaii, I would have to assume they've done both the Republican and the Democratic voting at this point. I have no clue, but that's kind of like where my mind got pulled to, that who did they vote for? I think they voted for Bernie Sanders. I don't know if they did the Republican votes out there. I think they did. I don't know who they voted for, but I kept getting Hawaii's making waves, Hawaii's making waves. And was there something else? I think there was something else that kind of came up as a third. Oh no, then it was me. So not really sure, but we'll see as April transpires if any of that manifests. And then from there I got circled all the way around the map to Japan, from Hawaii to Japan. And I saw Japan as the island, kind of an island sitting in the ocean, right? And it kept taking a very familiar shape, and I'm like, is that what Japan looks like? Not being a very geographically conscious person. And the more it was like, it was showing me, and it was flipping almost like a mirror image back and forth, and every time it would show me Japan, it was a very familiar image, and I finally put it together and I went, oh, that's California. It was showing me the state of California as Japan on the map. And so I'm watching this happen, and asking for more clarity. What's this mean? I don't get the connection. And then I saw what led me to a series of things, led me to connect something with power plants. And somewhere in the recesses of my mind, some NPR story came up that I think I've recently heard, and I have no clue if it was talking about anything in Japan. I think it was something in the States. Some power plants in the United States were trying to continue operating, but they had not passed inspections. Maybe it was at, no, I'm thinking I'm mixing two stories, Supreme Court level, but I think I'm mixing two stories. And so I'm getting pulled to this like NPR about the power plant, and I'm seeing these almost like monopoly pieces on Japan and in California. And it was kind of the upper, if you were to section California off in 3 quadrants, maybe it was the border of that like 3rd quadrant at the bottom. It's kind of like the area in which it was. There was almost this like, it looked like a little monopoly piece on the board, and it was showing me the same one in Japan. And so I have no clue if there are power plants there. I have no clue about any of this, but there was this direct connection between Japan, California, something with power plants. I have no clue. So moving on, because it wasn't clear. Again, I don't stay in longer than I have to, especially when it's something as large scale and kind of ambiguous as a monthly reading. So then I got pulled up to Russia, and anybody who does this kind of work has anybody who's looked at Putin's Akashic records or his Soul's Lesson Plan. Everybody who tries to do forecasting work will tell you that Putin's supposed to start World War III, right? And I've had many different readings, and when I've written books, it comes up that Russia is starting a big war with the world, basically. But outside of how I see this is it's almost like the game Risk, and you move the little cannons. That's what it looks like to me every time I get clued into Russia. And on the border of Russia, circling it completely, there are all these like old, old war style cannons with the big wheels, and they're all facing out towards everything, protecting the inside of Russia, and all the cannons are facing out. And so what I saw today were all those cannons that usually sit on the border and that are quote unquote starting this war with the rest of the world. They were all facing in. And so again, I don't like to ask, I don't know if it's I don't do it because I don't want to get that detailed to be, logged in. Everything's symbolic for me, and so I'm trying very hard to make up what the symbols mean and what they're trying to convey. And so I just saw that happen, and I went, okay, well, that's enough. I don't know much more than that. So everything was facing in towards Russia. So it was very Hawaii, Japan, California, Russia. We'll see what any of that means. So I'm going to slowly and carefully now twist this down so that we can get the cards. And that looks pretty good. So let's do the reading. So for April, what's going on for April 2016? These don't need to be perfect. Okay. All right. So, okay. So the energy here for the earth energy, what's manifesting is patience for us. So this is our connection, like the willpower. So things we've been focused. So these are the polar opposites here, right? Okay, so what are we doing? Patience and flexibility. So these are both manifesting. So the two opposing forces on us in the month of April, so our yin word and our yang word energy that's coming through. For the earth, it's about patience, which anytime we're talking earth energy, earth is the manifesting. No, so earth energy, this would be what we're trying to achieve. It's a lot of the self-reflective work. It's the energy that moves from the earth and moves towards the heavens. So this is basically I'd say anything, any kind of progress, if you had been really connected, if a lot of things were seemed like they were moving along for you, this would be almost like a slowdown, a pullback. It's like a time to kind of, again, the word is patient. So it's a time, this is saying we had a lot of power, we had a lot of drive invested in what we were doing, and this again is kind of connected into our one-on-one relationships. So whether that's business or relationship, or something specifically where it's you and another person working together towards something, I would almost say that things that we're moving forward are going to be at a standstill this month, and it's probably pulling you back so that you can do more self-reflective work and really get into there might be a lesson or something that you need to acknowledge before things move on. And so I'd say here is where the lesson is going to come through. It's about being flexible. So this is all about realizing again that the passion and what was maybe driving you to move you on, and this is the divine flow, this is the heaven flow of energy. So the opposing force to the patience and the earth energy, now what's acting on us in this manifesting flow, and it was manifesting, is this ability to be flexible. And so maybe things have slowed down with you and whatever this project was, whatever you were moving towards, because there's a need to kind of self-reflect, and maybe you were too focused, too narrowly focused, and there's a need to kind of broaden that. And it's interesting because this one here is the one-on-one relationships, and this here goes to family, which it's showing that there's this bigger breadth, there's a bigger assessment that's kind of needed to allow a complete kind of harmony of these two energies to work through you this month to, I think, move you forward. So I'd say expect slowdowns in whatever was moving so quickly and you felt like you had a lot of energy towards. Just expect some slowdowns to happen. So root chakra, yeah, so it's saying, so now this is going to you, and I'd say, what's that self-reflective work we need to witness before we can kind of move forward and have that same progressive energy that maybe we had last month in April that we were expecting to continue but didn't. So here it's saying that there's illusion. So this is the shadow side of the root chakra, or shadow side of the third eye chakra, but it's coming up in your root chakra. So foundationally, if let's just say you were to be full steam ahead and not heed the warnings of slowing down, pulling back, trying to broaden your view, be flexible, and kind of allow yourself to be patient and allow the right doors to open for you. If you don't do that, and if you push through, foundationally, there is this sense of illusion, or like the perspective. You don't have the greatest perspective. For whatever reason, the universe is saying, take a breath, you need to pull back, because we're going to be giving you a path, an opportunity to broaden your view, to see the bigger picture. And if you were to continue to just move full steam ahead, using this ego kind of drive, not heeding the warnings and just willpowering through, your foundation, what you're going to move from is going to be a limited perspective on the entire situation. And so you might miss an opportunity, you might miss the connection, you might miss the bigger picture. And when this is flexible, the divine energy coming through flexibility, it's saying that something that you didn't expect is going to come in to really help this energy take you to the next level. But what we have to do is really be grounded. Grounded's all about being patient, being in our space, being connected to everything that's happening around us. Because when you can do that, and when you can ground into that present moment, then you're willing to be flexible. Because if you were just narrowly focused and go, you're almost closed off to some of these outside external forces. We all know that, right? We could sit down, let's just say you're in a cubicle desk job, 9 to 5, right? And it's almost sometimes when you're so focused on a project, you have no clue. You look up, it's 2 o'clock, right? There's the complete opposite that happens, and you feel like it should be 2 o'clock and it's 11 o'clock. But in this circumstance, in this instance, it's almost as if, you know, if you're so focused and you're not allowing the energy to kind of guide you, you know, it's let's just say this happens to me all the time when I'm at work. My computer will shut off, and if I were to force it, I can sit there and it shuts itself off because it overheats, or I have a very old computer, right? And so, but I know it's also energetically telling me you need to get up and you need to get out and see what's going on. But in my office, the computer will shut off, and I could sit there for 5 minutes, reboot it, and go right back in, and it'd be fine for another 2 hours. But if I didn't heed that warning, I'm missing energetically a connection and ability to get up from what's happening right now. If I say, no, I'm not going to take that advice, you know, I'm not going to take this moment to break and change the energy that surrounds me. I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to wait. I'm going to push through. I'm going to push my computer past, you know, whatever it's trying to signal to me it needed a break, and I'm gonna just do the work I was doing, nose to the grindstone. If you continue with that, you're gonna miss the opportunity where if you take the break when the computer shuts down, you go walk around, connect with people, go to the water cooler, go outside for a minute, you might have the brief illumination, the light bulb moment. You might have the connection to somebody who also got up in that moment and have that mind-blowing conversation that puts you on a different trajectory or a different path. So here it's saying a warning in your foundation is if you continue to move forward, not heeding this patience and flexibility of our divine energies guiding us this month, there will be a limited perspective. There will be this illusion quality. There will be missing information. You won't have the big picture. So sacral chakra. So it's like going complete opposite. So sacral chakra, this is all about your one-on-one connections. And here, this is the crown chakra energy. This is the main crown chakra card. This is about transcendence. And so again, it's saying, you know, earth energy, what's the lesson? With our one-on-one relationships, we have to be patient. So there's something that's being reflected to us. It's always a self journey, right? But there's something within these relationships, let's see, I'm not going back to last month. Transcendence. So there's a growth. And you know, okay, so on the most extreme of levels, this could mean, let's just say it's a business partnership. Transcendence could mean that there is a completion. So transcendence is always when you go root to crown and you're at the peak, you're at the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, it is the end of a lesson. It's the end of a flow. It's the end of a journey. You've kind of hit the stride. You've learned what you've had to, and then you're able to now start from a higher level, a higher perspective, and do your next lesson plan, or your next you're able to do the next kind of core, why can't I come up with this word? Okay, so you're able to move forward in the next phase of the journey with a higher perspective, with a higher consciousness level. And so anytime this comes up, especially in what we've already talked about, it's as if with this one-on-one relationships, you've hit the peak, you've learned the lesson, you've gained the clarity. And this is, of course, if you foundationally allow yourself to heed patience and flexibility, then with this one-on-one relationship, so it could be the end of a journey with somebody, meaning You've learned everything you need to, and in the most divine way, there's no more soul contract between you and this person. And so you're able to transcend and move on to the next phase of the journey. And that could be and mean that you get to do that with this same person because you've learned, you've understood. So for me, this actually happened right when I came home, again with me and my husband. You know, there was something, and we talked about it, and it just happened at the very end of this March month. And so I feel like this is a prime example. I feel anyways like him and I have we talked about something that was really wonderful. It gave us both this clarity. It feels like it's the end, or the very end of a lesson that has been a long time of us learning, and now it's almost as if we get to start fresh from this new level, this new connection, this new perspective. And so that's what you could expect then with these one-on-one relationships, if you are, of course, being patient and flexible with everything that's coming through. So solar plexus chakra is going to be Archangel Raphael, and this is authentically you, and so this is again all about you here, but this is again third eye chakra. This is the angel coming through for third eye chakra, and he's all about clear intuition. So let me just read his message because I feel like it might be better right from the source. So he says, you must separate yourself from your limiting perspectives. Again, that's back to illusion in the foundation. You must separate yourself from limiting perspectives. Treat your life as if you are a guest with a ticket ready to watch the play. Your goal is to watch your life from everyone else's perspective. If you can start to live as if your physical body is the actor in your life and a higher version of yourself is the one watching the performance, you will start to gain insights as to what the world around you is trying to convey in the moment. That you can shift your consciousness outside of your own body and begin to watch the world play out around you is the moment you will begin to understand the physical, psychic impulses you receive, the visuals you tap into, and the realities that are being created by your every move. So I'd have to say that maybe directly connected to the transcendence, the relationship level here in the sacral chakra with the crown chakra card coming through. It's almost as if you feel like that's the trajectory you're on, or if that's the path that's kind of unfolding in front of you, when you go through that learning process and gain all of those insights, and you have that transcending moment, that acknowledgement of kind of what you had been working towards. And like I said in the beginning, you know, earth energy is talking about patience, and divine energy is talking about flexibility. So if you can really pull back this month and not be so focused into what you thought your path was, and you pull back and allow it to unfold around you, you are going to have this, if you have already, or if you do have this transcending moment at some point this month, then I feel like what you start from at your next level, because this is the authentically you card, this is now a component of your divine soul quality. So what happens is now you start at this new level with such trust and understanding in your ability to see a situation from all angles and be able to have very clear intuition on how to handle that. And so I feel like here you get an up-leveling and an affirmation, because it's an archangel card coming through and giving you this gift. If you can stick to this energy that's coming through this month, it's almost as if you get to start a new chapter in your life, where now it's almost as if you're being gifted this ability of clear intention and intuition, and you feel like you trust in what you perceive more because it's been affirmed for you. You have been able to see a lesson in your life happen from beginning to end with really clear understanding of what the meaning was, what the lessons and attachments were, and it just affirms for you a lot of what you had been thinking, a lot of what you had been feeling. And so as an authentic quality and an authentic part of your soul quality, that really helps just to confirm you as a human and what you've been experiencing, because again, it's the end of a path, and now you gain this wisdom that becomes a part of you moving forward. So the heart chakra, devotion. So this is the bridge between what's kind of come before and what's to come next. So it's calling on you. So it's saying basically your purpose right now is mixed into what's surrounding you, and this is large scale what's surrounding you. So again, I think it's getting us to see that your purpose is really tied into getting the understanding of this big picture. This is, if you can allow yourself not to have illusion and be narrowly focused and limited perspective this month, if you can watch out for that potential kind of ego aspect that could come in this month, if you can secure the flexibility and the patience in April, end of March, April, then you'll have this end of a journey, this end of a growth experience. You'll gain the clear intuition and all that wisdom that comes with that. And then basically, if you can do all of that, now this moves you through the heart center, which is the bridge here, into the next energy, the more spiritual qualities that are going to come through next. But it's going to really, it's saying right now your purpose is so tied into this big picture, serving kind of everybody around you, not being so focused on what you think. Again, I'm back to that business analogy of like being so focused that you kind of miss all the signs around you, and it has to do with, again, one-on-one relationship. So if it's romantic, if it's partnership, if it's you and a child, if it's you and a friend, whatever, it's somehow connected, a business partnership with you and a singular other person that had been focused on moving forward in some way, shape, or form. And it's as if it's saying, how you were moving forward before this month, it's going to change. And so as long as you can stick to that, know that basically, if you can pull yourself away from what you thought was the focus and take it out to these big, the bigger picture that surrounds you, and it seems like it's now affecting lots of people around you, that will be the energy, this devotion energy to this ability to connect into your purpose while serving kind of that bigger group around you, or the bigger, grander perspective. That's going to be what pulls you through into the higher resonant energy field. So throat chakra is coming up as shadow of root chakra, which is fear. So this is going to be all about your voice. So voice, hearing, being heard, the creative inspiration. So I guess this would just be that if you do this, any of the concepts that were expressed to kind of divert from this clear plan that you had kind of moving into this month, and almost pull back and allow yourself to trust in what's going on. There's some, oh no, it's not fear, excuse me, it's grief, it's heart chakra. So that changes that. So what does that mean then? So heart chakra, then there's a block here. So okay, so then this is easy. Grief is all about so grief in a traditional sense is about loss and mourning and that, but on a very spiritual level, there is this detachment, and it happens to us when we detach from our physical world. There's grief means a certain thing. When we detach in an emotional way, grief is another thing. This is to me indicating, because this has been a very mental about us being so focused and driven and self-driven and thinking that we know what's best for us, and this approach to move forward, and it's saying nope, you got to pull back, you got to allow the mental body to open up, get the full perspective. It's been very third eye chakra, and then the heart comes in and says, if you stick to this bigger perspective, serving the larger population around you, not just serving yourself. This is what's going to be connecting you to your purpose work, and this is what's going to give you kind of that transcendence and the intuition that had come through. And so here, grief, when attached to the mental field, when we are so used to doing things in one way, to have a grieving or a mourning period, and this is going to be shadow side. It's what could sneak up and again distract you from the purpose of what's already come through. And so it's saying to have to release and let go. And this like mourning of it's almost like allowing a part of you to die, right? When we grieve, it's usually we grieve over things that it's like changing. It's when things die, we grieve, right? So to allow this component of you that's so overly focused and so overly controlling, to allow this part of you that's so into controlling the situation to kind of die, you mourn it, you have allow its time to move on. That can be something that can be very scary and very unfamiliar for a lot of us, or this could even be a sense of because it's going to be attached to voice, so there's going to be some kind of physical expression or manifestation of this that comes out through your voice. So I'd say also be clued in to, because this is trying to signal you to, again, what could block you from this. So anytime your voice starts to go into any kind of like grieving patterns, like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. And again, we're getting pulled right back into these, the one-on-one relationship that you're being called to have this patience and flexibility with. So see if you've already been clued into maybe where this is going to play out in your life. When you're with that person or that partner, whatever it is, watch for patterning in your voice to come up where you are almost, it's like it's their problem, and now you are giving them those words that are of grievance, like that's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't believe that happened. It's like this sympathy sounding voice. It's not it's not going to be this empathy where you're actually feeling. It's almost as if you're going to be projecting it onto them. This is their problem, where you're probably, that's going to be a signal that you're blocking, and you're still going full focus into your controlling patterns. So I'd almost get clued into that, as well as it could be just the simple fact that there's a fear in letting go. There's a fear of, I think letting go is the best way, but of allowing this change to happen and having to kind of mourn that part of you that no longer is this controlling. This is what we had planned on, and this is what I'm going to push through for. It's allowing to let yourself to let go, because you know the grieving process in that, the ability to let go and do that naturally and allow other things to step in, is going to be the most healthy and connected thing for you. So third eye chakra is, again, so we're back here with the people surrounding us. So it's our willpower, it's our strength to persevere and connect into all of that's surrounding us. This is a maturing that's happening. I'm really strongly connected into this is a new way. The energy that's coming through this month is it's giving you a new way to see life. Like, I feel like that's the ultimate kind of the takeaway here. It feels like if you allow yourself to pull back, not be controlling, allow yourself to let go and not be limited in your perspective, you're going to be patient and flexible with this path or these paths that are going to come through for you. If you can do all that, you're going to have the maturing. You're going to be more connected into this collective, this consciousness of everybody surrounding you. You're going to be able to have this this really healthy confidence in what you're perceiving. You get very intuitive hits. This is Michael. You have this transcendence of, you've kind of completed a journey, and you see what was happening and why it had to happen that way. And it's the devotion that's gonna bring you through all this. And then the crown chakra. So here's where the fear comes in. And so this is, again, it's a warning. So we started with illusion. We're ending with fear. There was a block, a potential block in the throat chakra with the grief here. And so the crown chakra, it's coming through. This seems like a very big lesson. Crown chakra comes in as like that overall, what is the spiritual lesson that's taken place? And it's signaling us that yes, you have the ability here to transition yourself, gain this higher perspective, transition, shift onto a new way of seeing, sensing, feeling, knowing, being at this new level of existence, having that much more wisdom, gain that much more light in your body, right? And so the one thing that could derail you from this is the fear, I think, of letting go of these controlling patterns in the limited perspective. And so don't let that happen. And so let's just do a card from your highest and most loving guide. So how do we help make sure that we don't fear the change and the unknown, because we trust in the bigger perspective? And the bigger perspective, there's a point when you're allowing the bigger, greater perspective to come in that you don't know what's going on. And that's very hard for humans. That's why we control so much. That's why we're so in our mental field, because we want to think we know and control everything that's happening to us. And so to let go and trust in the divine plan, there's a point where you have to do that and be vulnerable to open up completely to those doors and those pathways that are the greatest perspective for you. So let's see. So this is the Phoenix card. This is evolution. This is your higher self coming through with strength and willpower. So it's saying basically you, if this is something you want, if you want the shift, if you want the transition, if you want the greater perspective over your life, over this component of the journey, don't worry. Your higher self is coming through with all the energy you need to be that change in which you wish to see, right? Love that quote. The evolution, what is it? The bird to ash and then life again. The complete growth, the complete transformation. So I think that's a great way to end. So thank you so much with light and love. Enjoy your April 2016.